everyone, Emily Teacher here, and today we're going to read The Thousand Year Battle. What can a small country do if more than a quarter of its land lies below sea level, threatened continuously by inundation? How can it wrest control of the land from the sea so it can be used productively? For over 1,000 years, the people of Holland worked indefatigably to accomplish this task. They succeeded by building a system of dikes, great walls of earth and rock as a bulwark against the sea. So, we're talking about Holland and the issues that it faced from being so far below sea level. So let's learn more about the problem and how they succeeded in building these dikes to protect them. In 1953, however, a freak combination of unusually high tides and hurricane force winds along the southwestern coast caused this system to break down. Unable to withstand the storm's onslaught, many dikes gave way. The sea poured through. It engulfed the land, flooding 450,000 acres. The disaster killed 1,800 people. It drove thousands more from their homes. So, because the land is below the seawater level, um, there's really high tides. So, when the water comes in, it gets too high. So, they had these dikes built to protect the land from that water, but there was hurricane force winds that broke down those barriers and overflowed the area, right? So it flooded the land, flooding over 450,000 acres, killing 1,800 people. So it ruined a really big portion of the land. The Dutch responded to this renewed challenge from the sea with the Delta Project. This plan involved the construction of a complex system of greatly strengthened dikes and dams. Its most innovative feature was a gigantic barrier designed to seal off Holland's southern coast, the area most susceptible to flooding. Begun shortly after 1953 flood, the $5 billion project took over 30 years to build. It was opened officially on October 4th, 1986 by Queen Beatrix. So they found a way. There's this Delta Project. They were going to rebuild the dikes, but in a much stronger way. And they were also going to try to seal off Holland's southern coast so the water could not get through. It was very expensive and took over 30 years to complete, but finally they were able to open it. To the Dutch people, the Delta Project seemed like the culmination of their 1,000-year battle against the forces of nature. Having constructed an impregnable barrier against the sea, they could now declare victory. But within a few years, they realized that their reclaiming and use of the land had created other problems. So the sea level problem had been an issue forever to the Dutch people. So finally, they were relieved it was fixed. But because of this solution, it would cause some new problems to develop. So let's learn what those are. As far back as the 15th century, the Dutch had relied on pumps to remove water from the ground. The picturesque windmills, so often associated with the Dutch landscape, provided the power to operate these pumps. Modern technology provided more efficient methods, which the Dutch also used. The removal of groundwater, however, lowered farther the level of the land, making it vulnerable again to flooding. So because of all this removal of groundwater, it was slowly sinking the land, making Holland go even lower under sea level. That makes it much easier for flooding to happen. Simultaneously, another factor, one that has been noted worldwide in recent years, was the elevation in sea level. This phenomenon is a result of what's known as the greenhouse effect. Carbon dioxide and other gases trapped in upper layers of the atmosphere act like the glass in a greenhouse. They permit heat from the sun to pass through, but prevent it from escaping. The result is global warming. The challenging climate could melt polar ice, causing the sea level to rise 2 feet over the next 100 years. So another problem was global warming, right? So not only was the ground sinking, but the sea level was rising. So this flooding became more and more of a problem for the Dutch people. The Dutch faced other problems because of their intensive farming methods. They relied heavily on chemical fertilizers. These had played havoc with the environment to such an extent that the stork, Holland's national symbol, had almost disappeared. In addition, the European community to which Holland belongs faced a glut of agricultural products. It stipulated that its members take 15% of their farmland out of production. So they were told they had to stop farming 15% of their land. Plus, they were using chemical fertilizers, which was killing their national bird almost to extinction. So they were facing many, many problems in their land. As a result of these pressures, the Dutch arrived at the decision that once would have been completely unthinkable. It was clear that their extensive and unrelenting fight against nature was no longer feasible. Instead, they devised a plan to allow 1/10 of their farmland to revert to its natural state. Land once 20 feet below sea level had been cultivated for 100 years would again be underwater. So they decided to let go of 10% of their farmland and let nature take it back over to help solve some of these problems. Thank you for reading with me today. We do have links related to each of our articles. If you want the links for this one here, you can find it down in the description below.